Gregory Horror Show. God, that name takes me back. To those uninitiated, Gregory Horror Show, or GHS, was a horror comedy anime created by Naomi Iwata in 1999. It's about a mysterious hotel at the edge of reality occupied by Gregory, a soul-stealing mouse bent on taking over the world, and the myriad of guests that call the place home. If you're unfamiliar with the show, you may be familiar with the 2003 game for the PS2. There's still GHS-related media being made till this day, with an upcoming video game getting announced a few months ago. I loved it when I was younger, and I still do. But one thing about it frightened me, and it wasn't even from the show itself. I was scouring the web in October 2011, still a newbie to the internet. I had found a playlist containing every episode of GHS, but one video stuck out to me. Right in the middle of Season 1 was a video that seemed out of place. It was entitled Gregory Horror Show Secret Episode Rattenkönig, with the thumbnail showing a picture of a bunch of rats tied by their tails. I've attached what I think could be the image I saw, but I'm unsure. Curious, I clicked the video to see what it was. It started off with a Windows Movie Maker title sequence saying, "Yo guys, just found a new episode of GHS, you all should watch it." It felt like it was going to be some stupid screamer video at first, but then I thought about how it seemed weird to put in the middle of a show archive, especially for something relatively obscure. The episode began with a shot of a hallway. Interestingly, the episode appeared to be from Gregory's perspective. You could hear the room keys he carries jingling, and you could see his gray hands when he looked down. He sounded out of breath, exhausted. The hallway was extremely saturated with orange and red, which was strange. The walls were usually brown or a bit grayish. Another odd thing was it looked like the model of the hallway was using more realistic textures than normal, like they were photos taken of someone's house. The longer he searched, the more he appeared to be looking for something, or more likely, someone. Soon he finally spoke. "This can't be right," he said under his breath. "James should have been in his room by 9. He's never disobeyed the curfew." Gregory's voice was nothing more than just an anxious whisper. He wasn't like his normal self in the show, which was overconfident and nefarious. Now he was concerned, almost terrified. He peeked through numerous doors trying to find his grandson, before something else caught his attention. The horrific squeak of chains. Something approached from the darkness. Whistling soon followed, reminiscent of the song Judgment Boy would periodically sing as he traveled through the hotel. Gregory froze in his tracks, and the viewer could see the familiar glow of something pink and something gold. Held in cages, suspended by chains, carried by a so-called seer of truth. "What are you doing here?" Gregory asked, frustrated. "You know why I'm here, Gregory. You're currently wondering whether to search for your kin or to sleep until dawn. A split decision, my specialty." "Well, obviously to sit—" Before Gregory could finish, Judgment Boy was suddenly staring at him with an expression of almost satisfaction. "I know why the rat's tails bind, easy to see unless you're blind," he sung to the tune of his theme. "I know what they've done with James, and there's only one to blame." He smiles, seeming to mock Gregory's plight. "Where is he? Please tell me!" "Look behind you." As he spun around, the hallways changed to a black void, and we could see what had happened. Numerous corpses, some bones, some still with skin, were all bound together by the tips of their tails. Gregory's breathing got heavier as the squeaking of chains returned yet again. Here we can finally make out James's body, weak and laying on the ground right by Gregory's feet. All owners who fall in Gregory House, whether past, present, or future, end up here. Just another part of the Rattenkönig. Judgment Boy could be heard scoffing and laughing as the episode faded to black. What? I mouthed after watching the episode. The whole thing was off. This had to have been some sort of fan animation, right? But later that night I had a bizarre dream that told me that the video wasn't ordinary, perhaps even supernatural. I was in my bedroom lying awake, unable to close my eyes. It felt like I was paralyzed from the neck down, unable to speak. I could hear someone whistling outside, approaching the door, which was closed. It creaked open and I could see a floating figure slink in like a shadow. Do you know who I am? Its voice sounded familiar, but at the same time, I couldn't remember when I heard it. It was echoey, almost ethereal, but clearly not benevolent in nature. I tried to respond, but again my lips were sealed shut. How does it feel to be an heir to the Rat King's throne? Suddenly it clicked in my mind and I could speak. But as soon as I did, I sat up awake in a cold sweat. I tried to find the video, but it was gone. In fact, no one else online has brought it up. It was like it was tailor-made to me. Was it all a dream I had? No. No. It can't be. I can still hear the chains squeaking at night, right outside the bedroom door. March 22nd, 2017, update. I feel dumb. I feel numb. I can't see, I can't hear. I can't feel anything. All I can feel is the small notion of someone staring at me from the darkness. It got in, and it must feed. JB demands it from me. He wants it from me. This line was written in Frankie's dream diary, roughly 2 hours before she disappeared. At the bottom of the page was a sketch of a human face, with obvious abnormalities. Visibly sharper teeth, a nose of a slightly different shade, V-shaped brows, and glasses that appeared more like markings. Underneath the sketch was Japanese kanji, or hante, meaning... Okay, that was Rattenkönig, written by Sutinnit. Same guy who wrote the Half-Speed story, if I remember correctly. Okay, review time. That was really freaking good. I liked that. Usually I'm not super into the idea of haunted video games or haunted lost episodes, pretty much, as usually it follows the same formula as Suicide Mouse. However, this is an interesting idea, especially considering the fact that this is based off of an obscure... Is it obscure? Oh, whatever. But it's based off of a anime. Like, a 3D horror comedy anime, as the pasta says. This story actually inspired me to check out the series for myself, and I'm having lots of fun with it so far. I like Gregory. I like Gregory's voice. Judgment Boy's even as an antagonist, he's pretty funny. He's cool. So, I can definitely see Judgment Boy as some sort of supernatural being, or based off of a supernatural being, say from folklore. But, yeah, this is a really interesting story. I don't really mind the realism here, as mentioned. Like, it's mentioned here that the hallway, it has more realistic textures. That's fine, because, well, usually, realism, I'm not saying usually, but a big trope when it comes to creepypasta writing, or Lost Episode creepypastas, is, incorporating realism for absolutely no reason. Um, I can see this, uh, this makes more sense, because, I mean, like, it's a horror anime. Like it's is it a TV show? Like, did it show up on TV? I'm not entirely sure, but there's no doubt that the animation style can change. And considering that this is like a quote unquote secret episode, it could have been done at any time. It has the reader thinking. However, there's one thing I kind of have a problem with in this story. It really confuses me, and it's the idea of, well, this episode is said to be made out to be supernatural. Like, it's made out to have some sort of binding to it. If that's the case, why was this posted in a Windows Movie Maker edit by some guy on YouTube? Like, that's what I don't get. Don't you think that this person who posted it would have had the same problem unless he was a witch or something and cursed the video? Like, I don't really understand that. That seems kind of not that great of a detail. But I feel like that can be fixed up on with a little skim through. But yeah, pretty much my opinion. I have nothing else to say at the moment. My final rating would have to be an 8 out of 10. Mainly because of that one plot point I mentioned. It really doesn't make sense within the story. But in context with the episode in general, it's really creepy, conveys a deep message, makes you think. So, Sutinnit, bravo. Good job. You did just as good as you did with, Half Speed. Fantastic, man. But as I always say, this is simply my personal opinion, and if you disagree with it, that's fine. We all have our opinions regarding these creepypastas. What did you think of the pasta? What would you have done to improve upon it if you were the writer? And as always, I will see you all in the next narration. I love you all. Bless.